And we're back. So just to kind of clarify where we're headed and what we're doing and where we're going, today we're going to be doing section 7.6, day 2. Now, we are not learning anything new today. I take that back. One little new piece, just for a very specific type of problem. But most of today is going to be a review of yesterday and extra practice. Because I got to be honest, a lot of you did the homework, and as I'm walking around, I see a lot of you doing it wrong, and I don't see you correcting as we're going. And also a lot of people just didn't do their homework. So most of today is going to be review, refresh, go through more problems. I'm going to have you work on them in class. I'll put a problem up on the board. You'll do it, and we'll go over a couple of those. And then we'll learn a little new thing with negatives. Then I'm going to give you a lot of the period to work on the online assignment because, again, I think it's really important to try to transfer answers into the online system. Tomorrow we're going to do section 7.7, Friday, Monday, review. Again, our quiz is going to be next Tuesday. Quiz Tuesday. I can write it up there now because yesterday was a Tuesday and now we're not confused at all. All right. Quiz next Tuesday. And also, I think if I'm reading my plans correctly, the end of the 9 weeks.
13 days.
What's that?
13 days.
Yeah. I believe, let me pull up the calendar. See, we have it all planned out until the test, what sections we're doing each day. So if I'm looking at this correctly, the end of the 9 weeks is the 11th, okay? That means this quiz that we have on Tuesday is the last summative assessment of the third 9 weeks. Yeah. So that will be it, because after that quiz on Tuesday, we do sections 8.1, 8.2, 8.3. There's a late start day in there on March, looks like 7th, 8th, 9th. That this day in here. So we'll have that quiz next Tuesday, the 1st, and then we won't have an assessment that week because we'll be starting into the new section. We will have one like the following week to start off the 4th 9 weeks. But I'm just telling you right now to be prepared because that quiz will be the last summative grade of the 9 weeks. Just telling you right now, just to be prepared for it. And it's going to be roughly the same amount, 50-point quiz. We've had, I think, like 4 or 5 of them now. Bigger quizzes, not a lot of tests. Okay, so just so you guys know where we're headed. Any questions about that? Good. Okay, let's take a look. Again, we've got 2 types of problem here. We've got an easy type and a hard type factoring. An easy type and a hard type. Can anybody tell me what are the factors, or what do I do here? I guess I shouldn't even start with it. What should I do?
You gotta take the factors of negative 56 that add to positive 1.
Good.
And that's negative 7 times 8.
Good. Negative 7, positive 8. Now, you know what I have a lot of people doing? This happens a lot. Everybody, eyes up here, please. Eyes up here. I always have people do this now. And do this rewrite method. Do I need to do this?
No.
No. Can I do this? Sure. It will work, but you're doing a lot more work than you need to. Okay? You don't need to do that rewrite method. It's an easy type problem. There's no number out front. Just go straight to your answer. And there's my answer. Okay? Be careful with that. A lot of people might try to do more steps than they need to, and you don't need to do that. Take a look at number 2. Now, do I have to do the full 4-step thing now? Yes. I have to do the whole factor master product method. Okay, what am I going to find the factors of? Be careful. Negative 14. 2 and negative 7. I'll put it up here. Negative 14. What are the factors of negative 14 that add to get to negative 5? No? Yeah, the ones that we just multiplied together, right? 2 times negative 7. That's what I will say, and that's a good point to bring up. I think I mentioned it yesterday. When you have one of each sign, it's always better to put the negative factor first. Just, my preference. Will it come out the same in the end? Yeah. So we say 2x squared minus 7x plus 2x minus 7. I see a lot of funky stuff going on there. A lot of same numbers going on there. All right. Underline first two and last two. Underline first two terms and last two terms. What's my GCF out of my first two terms?
X.
Just an X. Good. Just an X. So we pull that X out, leaving me with a 2X minus 7. Again, the 7 no longer has an X with it because it got removed out. Got factored out. What's my GCF out of my... Now, this happened a lot on the homework last night, and I didn't really think it was going to. Okay, at least if you ordered it in certain ways. What's my GCF out of my second set? 1. Yeah, it's a 1. Do these have anything in common? No. So my GCF is a 1. Okay, we'll just write a plus 1 then. Okay. The way I did it on the keys, you'll see I kind of like reordered it in different ways that you didn't need to do that. But there were certain times that I kind of had to run into it, and it was just had to happen. Now, if it's the GCF as a 1, you're not doing anything to it. 2x minus 7, which is good anyway, because look at my common binomial. I wanted it to be 2x minus 7. Yeah. Now, I will say this. It wasn't as much of an issue wasn't as much of an issue this period, but last period I was walking around and I saw more than 5 or 6 people put that as their answer. Finish it out, folks. You're stopping short. Remember me saying this when we were factoring by group? Don't stop short. Finish the problem. You cannot just leave that as an answer. This is 2x minus 7, x plus 1. I keep getting the question also, does the order matter? No. The order doesn't matter. You could say x plus 1 and then 2x minus 7. That's fine.
So, you said order doesn't matter, and during the initial problem, I had negative 2 and 7, and they...
Oh, that matters. You had negative 2, positive 7?
Yeah.
That adds together to get a positive 5, not a negative 5. That matters.
Okay, yeah, I got like...
It was way different.
Minus 1 and then 2
Right.
X.
Yeah. So, yeah, you actually got the opposite signs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this would be X there.
X plus 1, 2x minus 7. Yep. Same thing. Just flip it around a little bit.
So you just have to be careful watching what's negative.
Exactly. And that's really the trickiest part of these problems. Taking into account the signs. Watch your signs. All right. Let's take a look at the homework. What questions do we have on the homework? Give me at least one to go over. Gio? Number 10? It was funny. I was making the key this morning, and Mr. Delap was making the key as well. And we stopped at the same time. We were like, really? 150? We're going to make you find the factors of 150. But then we were like, oh, it doesn't turn out too bad. What are the factors of 150 that add together to get negative 31?
Negative 25 times negative 6.
Yeah, negative 6 times negative 25. It didn't turn out too bad. Negative 6 times negative 25. Okay, negative 6 times negative 25. All right. So we rewrite 10w squared minus 6w minus 25w plus 15. Factor by grouping. Pull out the 2w as my GCF here. And we're left with a 5w minus 3. Take a look here. My GCF, I know, has to be negative. And I can divide both of them by 5. So it's negative 5. All right, now negative divided by negative is a positive 5. Bring down the w. Positive divided by negative is a negative 3. And look at that. Look at my common binomial there. 5w minus 3. So we got 5w minus 3, and then my leftovers, 2w minus 5. Excuse me. Questions about that? What other questions on the homework would we like to talk through or go over? I know number 10, I'm probably going to have to go over the rest of the day too, so that was no big deal. Anything else that you want to talk through? Go ahead, Joe.
Wouldn't that be 4? Like since it's minus 3, that would be 4w, right?
Yep.
No. Because like
Where do you see a 4?
see like it's 2w in the parentheses, 5w minus 3. No. The other one, yeah. And that turns out to 5w, but you're subtracting by 3. So.
But this isn't; those aren't like terms.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to leave them separate.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't subtract those. Yeah, Brown.
Number 7.
Oh yeah, let's go over number 7. Let me blank out these and then take a look here. All right, 3 times 6 is an 18. I feel like. Oh, this is the same problem as our first one in the notes. Funny. I was like, I feel like I did this problem last period. 3 times 6 is 18, and that's 2 times 9. So 3h squared plus 2h plus 9h plus 6. Group. Looks like I've got an h, leaving me with a 3h plus 2. Looks like I've got a 3, leaving me with a 3h plus 2. So this gives me an h plus 3, or sorry, yeah, it doesn't matter order. And then a 3h plus 2. I usually write my common binomial first, but it really doesn't matter. Does that make sense? All right, well, I guess in that case, we just did the first problem out of our guided notes. So why don't you guys, as soon as you get this, do the second problem. The plan was to skip around anyway. So we'll do the second and third one. I did include the steps for doing this process on the top right of the page. Make sure the keys get back in the binders. And I'll give you some time to work. If you get done with the second problem, do the third. Don't go down past that. Don't go to the back yet. We'll do 2. You just got the seat ready. That should be 3.
one problem for these two have nothing like, so I would just need that.
Watch out. Where'd you get these two numbers?
9x.
Remember, you should be -4, -5 as your 9. The last term stays the same. You don't change the last term. The 9x gets broken up into 4 and 5. Okay.
So basically, we just do like it would be -4 or -4 after 2x.
This is the x.
And then it would just be -5
X.
plus 10.
Now factor by group. Yeah, that's fine. Be careful.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Because 10 divided by 82 should be a minus. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yes, you're going good so far. Yep. They need to be negative. So both of them need to be negative.
Oh.
Okay. So now you rewrite your first term. But no parentheses yet.
Okay.
Not on the second step.
Oh yeah, because we're on the second step.
Mhm.
I just replace this.
No. The first one stays the same.
Okay. Sorry.
This term is the one that gets broken up into -5, -4. So write the -5x. And then -4x. Now rewrite your last term. Underline first two. Underline last two. And now you start pulling out your GCFs.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep. That's the same thing. Yep. If you've gotten done with problem number 2, do problem number 3. Okay? The third one on that page. Yep. Mhm. You have to keep it, yeah. Which should have been taken because those technically are not the same. You see that? And if you leave with a negative, the GCF is also be okay. That +2 should be a minus, and then those signs should be that.
Is this right? If carry down the variable,
You should carry down.
so like all of these are negative.
Exactly. Yeah, this. And also, we'll be definitely -5. That's a -5.
Oh,
You didn't take out the full GCF.
you could.
Yes, half the
For both x's too.
yeah. So the full GCF is 2x, so this x. That should be -2. Which makes sense because it'll be in express. Okay, I'm going to go through these problems. If you got 3 done as well, then you can just follow along. If you just got number 2 done, then you're going to go through it with me, follow along, and then do number 3 along with me. All right, take a look here. 2x squared minus 9x plus 10. 2 times 10 gets us 20. And I think almost everybody saw the factors of 20 that add to get to -9 are -4, -5. Catch the negatives, though. That's the weird part about this one. -4 Negative 5. So we have 2x squared minus 4x minus 5x plus 10. Factor by GCFs. Factor by grouping. 2x is my GCF here. So we pull that out. Leaves me with an x minus 2. Okay, now this is the tricky part to this one. What's my GCF of my second 2? Negative 5. How do I know that it's a negative? Well, I lead with a negative in my second step, my second terms, right? So that means this is a minus 5. Also, please, people, make sure you're putting an operation there. If it's a plus, if it's a positive, put a plus. If it's a negative, put a minus. Yeah.
So I see, because like, you know how you said my way was right too?
Mm-hmm.
I put negative 5 plus and like negative 4 instead of negative 4.
Which is fine.
Why'd you put negative 4 first then?
Because I felt like it.
Alright.
Preference at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why. For me, I always put the smaller number first in value. And then we have an x minus 2. So we have an x minus 2 as our common binomial. And then what do I have left over? 2x and a minus 5. And there's my solution. Again, could I reorder it? Could I have a 2x minus 5 and then the x minus 2? Sure. That would be fine as well.
So if so we're like dividing the 2x2 and by the 2x.
2x squared.
2x squared, and then the negative 4x by the 2x. So that means that if it's like, if they're like different, like one's positive and one's negative, that means that you just get rid of the variable.
No, I get rid of the variable because it canceled out. I divided out that variable.
But it's because the other one is 2x squared.
Right, and that's why, because this was x squared over x, that's why one of them stayed.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, let's do the next one. Again, if you did not get to this one, please do this one along with me. What am I going to find the factors of?
Negative 18.
Negative 18. Let's move this down a little bit. Negative 18. Factors of negative 18 that I had to get what? Negative 3. What are they?
Negative 6.
Negative 6, positive 3. Negative 6, positive 3. One negative, one positive. Again, I say to you, if you have one of each, one negative, one positive, put the negative factor first. That'll help out. I promise. So 9x squared minus 6x plus 3x, then a minus 2. Now we factor by grouping. Looks like I've got a 3x as my GCF. Both of them are divisible by 3, and they both have an x. Okay, 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And the x came out. What's my GCF out of my second set?
Negative 2.
Negative.
Like, no, I'm saying like you said 2. Negative 6.
Oh, thanks. Negative 2. Appreciate it. What's my GCF out of my second set? Thanks for clarifying, sir. Nathan?
1.
A 1. This is one of those cases where it's a 1. Nothing in common with my 3x and my 2. So plus 1 sitting there. Leave it as a 3x minus 2. So my solutions are 3x minus 2 is my common binomial, and 3x plus 1 are my leftovers. Again, you're going to find the more you practice this stuff, the better you will be at it. Okay? The more you practice, the better you'll be. No?
Will there be any like number 10 homework on the quiz?
Big numbers? I try to keep the numbers low.
Okay.
But all right, let's flip it over onto the back. The one new piece here is the fact that I have a negative leading coefficient. Okay, whenever I have a negative leader, whenever I lead with a negative, don't I have to pull out that negative? Same rule applies here. Okay? The same rule applies. Take a look at what I have here. I have a negative 2. Hi, Mrs. Kalala. Yes. I cannot. Okay, sorry. Yep. What was it? They try to get me to cover Mr. Laubacher third period. I can't.
Wait, Mr. Lawwalker's out today?
Yeah. So do you see how I lead with a negative? So that means my negative 1 has to come out. Take a look at that. Watch here. You factor it out. Undistributed. Where'd the negative 1 come from? It came from the fact that I had a negative 2 as my leading coefficient. And now, essentially, what happens when I divide out a negative, it flips everybody's signs. This is just one of those rules that you have to follow. Just one of those math rules that you got to learn. Why are we doing this? Don't focus on the why. Focus on the how. Whenever you see a negative leading coefficient, you have to factor out a negative 1. So in this case, this is going to be a positive 2x squared, a positive 5x, and a positive 3. Now, that negative 1, that can drop down all the way to my answer. If this is a quiz or test, I'm going to my answer blank and I'm saying negative 1 times. Okay? It cannot just go away. And that's the trick, or not the trick, that's the common mistake. That negative 1 just kind of poof, vanishes into thin air. Don't do that. Yeah, poof. 2 times, now this factors like we had been doing yesterday and today. What am I going to find the factors of? 6 that add to get to 5. What are they? 2 and 3. This is a hard type, so I say plus 2x plus 3x. No.
Or 6 times negative.
No, because that would be, multiplying those together would be negative 6, not positive 6. Watch out for that. All right, and now we factor by grouping. Looks like I've got a 2x as my GCF, which leaves us with an x and then a 1. And it looks like I can divide these both by 3, which leaves me with an x and a 1. So I'm almost to my, I'm now to my final step. So now I'm going to pick up that negative 1. So my solution is, okay, the common binomial was the x plus 1. The leftovers is the 2x plus 3. That's my solution. Yeah. So that's just one little thing right at the beginning. If you've got a negative 1, you got to pull it out right at the beginning and put it right on the end. Factor the rest like normal.
Can we just make it positive and put negative 1 in front of it later? Like without having to do the whole division thing? Then you'll lose it.
Well, just watch out because you got to change all the signs. You know?
Okay.
Okay, any questions about that one? Yes, sir.
So we have like the 2x right there.
Yeah.
And that just like disappears. Like,
No, it didn't. No, it
where'd
didn't.
it go though?
Right here.
Why did it go all the way over there?
Because the common binomial comes out front, and the leftovers are our other factor, 2x plus 3.
And that's why. All right, I see it.
Okay, I'd like everybody to get at least a little bit of a head start on their homework. So get out your computers. Notice the note on the board. You must show all work on a piece of notebook paper. That applies only to the problems that require work. Like, there are a couple problems right at the beginning that are the easy type. Do you need to show the work for the easy type? No. So I do give you some easy type problems right at the very beginning to kind of like warm you up a little bit. Then there are some hard type factoring which you will need to show the full 4 steps. Okay? And I think there's 1 or 2 on the end with a negative. So again, I would like you to get a little bit of a head start right now. Yeah.
Wait, I'll have you X period then?
No, I'm not covering. They were asking me to, but I could not. I've got some copies of Make It Work to do next period.